So we're waiting for this to say go. Yeah, so we're good to go. Okay.
Is Dr. Keith Mitchell the only person
relation to the-
capable of ruling Grenada?
I've been
Such
assured
questions surrounding this all important issue have
by
been
the
popping up.
ministry.
For the reopening of schools on Monday.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Hold on. There's some things I have to get rid of here.
It's not 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if we are able to,
Okay. Good. We're good. All right. There we go. Comfort zone right here on Gem FM. So we're good. So it's Pablo. Okay, I'll do your introduction song.
Yes.
All right. Let us get that ball rolling.
Are we streaming already?
Yeah.
If you're that you're not confronting, they'll not take your life away. Give up life for them waiting for you to come out and play. I tell you, get out of your comfort zone. I know it takes plenty courage to start all over again, but patience and real perseverance could bring you positive gain. I tell you, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. I know that you have greatness in you. So, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Greater Cajeton and Martinique and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Today, we got in here with me today, Brother Raphael Paul. For most of you in Grenada know him as Pablo, yes, but I know him as Raphael Paul. But today I have to make a confession because I am trying to graduate myself back into Raphael Paul, but somehow I just can't get to do that. So apologize for you, those of you who know him as Pablo. I refer him as Raphael Paul. Right? He's one of ours, Gem FM hosts of Gem FM The Comfort Zone, and today he'll be having a special guest, Mr. Cajeton Hood, and I just can't wait to have Mr. Hood back here today, a second time as a guest on this show, The Comfort Zone. So Raphael Paul, again, thank you very much. And again, I tell you something, man. I'm a good finder. I'm looking for diamonds in the rough, you know, and I look in, and there is, if you don't know what a diamond look like, you will miss it, you know, and I don't want to miss that diamond, which you are to me, and I've been able to extract and to shine, to help, you know, make you shine among the people. You know, it is said, if you aim for the moon and you miss, you will land among the stars. And among you, I aim for the stars and for the moon, but I land right where you are, for my brother. God bless you, and I you know, continued success on Gem FM. And I know that there's a lot of people looking forward to this show today, so I want to let you go ahead and do your show. I'll be standing by you, but I'm here. Go ahead, my friend. It's all yours. It's all yours. God bless you.
What more can I say? Thank you very much, Brother John, for having me, for providing me with that opportunity. As John Kelly said, my name is Raphael Paul. Most people call me Pablo. And I don't know if you'll be hearing in the background there's some construction work going on just outside from me, and it's kind of, you know, distracting a bit, but we'll do the best that we can under the circumstances. It's really a pleasure to be back here every Saturday afternoon to share with you on the comfort zone. To begin with, I want to start before we bring in our guest shortly. I want to share just a little something with you. I came across this quotation. It's from Robert F. Kennedy. And those of you who know Robert F. Kennedy, he was Attorney General of the United States. He was a senator, and he was a candidate for the presidency, but he was killed. He was assassinated. And there is this quote from him which says, every time we turn our heads the other way, when we see the law flouted, when we tolerate what we know to be wrong, when we close our eyes and ears to the corrupt because we are too busy or too frightened, when we fail to speak up and speak out, we strike a blow against freedom and decency and justice. Now, this is from Robert F. Kennedy. Why do I share this clip? I share this clip because the title of this program is called The Comfort Zone. And as the introductory song says, get out of your comfort zone. I'm asking you to get out of your comfort zone. I did explain that in a previous show. I'm asking you to get out of your comfort zone and to get into the comfort zone, because the comfort zone is that space where you are no longer turning a blind eye. In your comfort zone, you're comfortable there, you are afraid, you are not challenging anything. But in the comfort zone is where you challenge things, is where you speak out on those issues that are of concern to the building of our nation state, to the good governance agenda that is needed and that is required for serious growth and development to take place. Because as long as we remain in our little comfort zones, where we accept anything that is given to us, that is presented to us, that is being done by the political directorate, and we behave as if that is okay, as long as we're in that comfort zone, in our comfort zone, then our country as a whole will never experience what is needed for proper growth and development. It is against that background that I would like my brother John to play a clip for me, a clip that speaks to the issues that we have, a clip that I call the political debate. It's just a few minutes long, and I want you to just bear with me, because it's been in the news and we find that question being asked time and time again, because there are those people who behave as though the only person that can run this country is the goodly Dr. Keith Mitchell, the present Prime Minister. And we hear the question being asked all the time, if not him, who else? And the question I usually ask in turn is, as we are all destined to go, what if he dies tomorrow? Is that going to be the end of Grenada? Will Grenada cease to be? We have had other prime ministers. They have transitioned, and Grenada continues. He is here with us. So when you ask the question, if not him, who else? I tend to say anyone else but him would do a better job. My reason for saying so is, while he has been a very successful politician, in my mind's eye, he is a failed prime minister, because prime ministership is something that is totally different to being a successful politician. And we have to be able to dissect this thing and to be able to tell the difference from one to the other. So, Brother John, if you could play that clip for me, the political debate. Let's hear what's being said.
On social media recently, leading to a search. Is Dr. Keith Mitchell the only person capable of ruling Grenada? Such questions surrounding this all-important issue have been popping up on social media recently, leading to a search for an answer. Charismatic leaders who can resonate their energies with the people and rally a particular cause while being the face of their political party is still the preferred choice.
So looking at the leadership scenario in Grenada now, and in the region generally, I have my concerns. I'm not seeing us throwing up younger leadership. I heard a lot of young people in the background saying certain things. I've heard them on radio. Quite impressive. But they have not busted on the scenes. They have not busted on the scenes to really see what is going on. So it's a lot of good ideas, and I don't want to mention names, a lot of good stories, a lot of passion, a lot of adrenaline in terms of when they speak, but then that has to be followed up with action.
Political scientist Dr. Damian Graves says the stifling of young leaders within political parties is a major concern for future leadership of Grenada.
How are they going to? Are they going to form another political party? Is Grenada right for a third political force? That's another very good question in terms of the political climate that we now have. So it's an exciting period. It's an exciting period. It's a period when people can come to the fore, young men and women can come to the fore. It is a period when Dr. Mitchell must see himself as the elderly statesman who can nurture talent within his party.
Dr. Graves says equal numbers of detractors to supporters to the Prime Minister's reign may be a truer reflection of the dynamics of the political landscape. He adds, however, that despite a possible loss of charm, Dr. Mitchell's legacy in politics is unquestionable, leading people to believe he is the only factor. Dr. Graves says Dr. Mitchell's accomplishment of winning all 15 seats 3 times is undisputed in the region.
Now, if you look at that situation for what it is, you have to respect the man as a leader. You have to respect him as a politician. You have to respect him as an individual who has understood the psychology of Grenadians, who has understood the psychology of the masses, and able to maneuver even at a time when he may be at his lowest ebb in popularity, he has been able to prevail. Now, you have to have respect for a man like that.
The political scientist says in order to impact change, the female-led main opposition party, NDC in Franca Alexis Bernardine, and opposition leader Tobias Clement must convince people of their ability to lead.
But leadership goes beyond pronouncements. Leadership goes beyond pronouncements. Leadership goes with certain things that you do. It goes with your actions. It goes with you being able to rally the support of people. It goes with people beginning to develop a certain level of confidence in you.
Objectively, he notes Dr. Mitchell is tried and tested, and Grenadians must decide whether it's an age and experience factor or a mixture of youth and experience. Joseph McKee-Smith, GBN News. Is Dr.
So you heard it there. It is interesting that the political analyst, he spoke to Dr. Mitchell being tried and tested as a politician. He did not speak to his prime ministership. He did not speak to his governance of the country. He's tried and tested as a politician. And that's the point I am making. When it comes to the governance of the country, this is a totally different ballgame. When you have a politician who is able to be as successful as Dr. Mitchell has been in the political arena, but when it comes to his governance, you know, the thought came to mind just recently. How do you call someone who is a repeat offender? Someone who always in and out of prison. You call them a repeat offender, right? So then how do you call a prime minister who consistently gets into deals and arrangements with people who are international crooks and criminals? Because we have seen on every occasion that Dr. Mitchell has been in office, there's been at least one occasion when he gets into some kind of arrangement, some kind of deal with a crook, with an international fraudster. What does that say about his governance? We see time and again where he misleads the people, where he gives false information in the public domain. And fortunately for him, and unfortunately for us, the people, the media do not take him to task on it. Like, for example, last year, July, Dr. Mitchell was speaking about the level of unemployment in the country, and he indicated that by year end it could fall even further. When he was asked about what is it that he has in place that could cause that to happen, what was his response? He said that up in Snell Hall in St. Patrick, they had refurbished a building for furniture making, and that people had been trained, and that the money wouldn't have to pay them. They would be able to make furniture for the schools and so on. Do you know that up till now, none of our media people have followed up on this? To bring to the people that that building, though refurbished, has never been outfitted and has never trained anyone? Doesn't it matter to the media and to the nation that our Prime Minister could just arbitrarily provide false information like that and no questions are asked? Is that the standard that we want for our leaders and for our politicians? It comes back to the quotation that I started with. When we turn a blind eye. Dr. Mitchell went to England after the 2013 elections, and he said, he told our diaspora out there that they had put out, how do you call it? Bids, right? They had called for bids, tenders. They had put out tenders for bids for our oil exploration. And that the Russian entity, the Russian concern, was the only one, the GPG concern was the only one with the money to invest and to get this thing done. I mean, we have seen what's happened in Guyana. We've seen established oil explorers come to the fore and the benefits that they have accrued even before providing one drop of oil. The same hasn't been the case for us. And it's not just about the oil, it's about what comes with it. It's about the sentiment and the values of our Prime Minister that he just, because within a couple of months, what did we have? We had the Minister of Works reporting to the country that this man had run out of money and a Chinese concern had to be associated with the furtherance of this exploration. So we see this thing happening again and again, and it speaks to the governance of this country. And we see now that just recently, with this big project in Livera, what has happened? we had there was a Zoom session that was open to the public. Many concerns were raised, and as a consequence of that, the public was invited to join the representatives of the two constituencies in the north to visit the site. And when they got to the site, the evidence is that there was no real arrangement in place. The officials at the site didn't know about their coming prior to their appearance or things to that effect. You had also the CEO of the physical planning unit. He was present and indicating that although there was no EIA done and for that specific development, and that there was certain issues that were not addressed as yet, they had given the okay to go ahead based on certain previous studies that had been done. And they had to remain on the outside because they were concerned about you visiting an active construction site. And it just goes to show you the kind of chaos that we're experiencing now. And it's because our people are in that comfort zone where they feel that it is okay to just give our prime minister and his government a free pass. As I've been told many times when being on the ground, you know, going out there and interacting with supporters of the NNP, even in conversations on Facebook, on social media, they would tell you, give him a chance, anything he do, he right. Can you run a country that way? Where you just have the prime minister, or any minister for that matter, being allowed to just do as they please? Is that how you run a country? Is that the best approach? Can that kind of arrangement and that kind of way of doing business, can it bring about the best kind of development that our country needs and that our country deserves? And then you ask the question, who else is best? Yes, you are. And the interesting thing is, now I'll say that perfection does not exist in the human domain. All right? Perfection does not exist in the human domain. That's a given. So once you look for flaws, you are going to find it. Any human entity, individual or collective, are going to have shortcomings. So you expect that with the existing and the apparent or the most dominant opposition grouping that we have, which is the National Democratic Congress. I remember, this is not the NDC heartbeat show. I am not out here necessarily to make a case for the NDC, but just to make a comparative analysis of what is before us, of what is available to us. And in making that comparative analysis about what is available to us, you find that those shortcomings that you point to as it relates to the National Democratic Congress, when compared to the gross mismanagement and the evident flaws in the governance that you receive from Dr. Mitchell and his NNP, it pales in comparison. Because under an NDC administration, you have not found, no, they have a track record, just like the NNP has a track record. And if you compare notes, if you compare the track record of both, you will find that the track record of the NDC is much more commendable. Or if you want to go on the negative side, is much less hazardous to the country and the governance of the country than you find to be the case with Dr. Mitchell and the NNP. And it is across the board, because presently it's like this country is in chaos. Every element of our governance right now is in shambles. Our health system, I don't need to give you the details. We see it on a daily basis. We get all of the reports. We see different people making pronouncements about it. This young lady from Miss Newman, I think it is, from St. Patrick, she has been speaking about it recently. We see the other young advocates, they've been out there speaking about it. We've seen videos about it on social media. What is it going to take to get our people to appreciate the fact that Dr. Mitchell and his NNP and the quality of governance that they provide to the country is not good for us, and that anybody else could, can, and will do a better job? Anybody else will do a better job than what he's doing. Because I am certain that if you put the young people, as inexperienced as they are, that they are not going to fall, or they are not going to go down the road that we see Dr. Mitchell and his NNP is going. NDC has been there, and we have seen what the kind of approach that they've taken. I mean, school is just, we start a new school year, and we see the challenges that people have in terms of getting books and so for their children. We see now that we face with COVID-19 and the role that the information technology and the use of handsets and the use of tablets and so is going to play in our education system. We see that our government hasn't prepared for it. Although school was out for an extended period during the last term of that school year, and you had that entire vacation period coming into a new school year, the evidence is that there hasn't been that engagement with the teachers and with the principals of the schools. There hasn't been that kind of engagement with the teaching fraternity in order to get us in the correct place. So much so that, I mean, the entire situation right now with education is totally discombobulated. Yes, I mean, it's no laughing matter, but it's totally in shambles. You don't know if you're coming or if you're going. You're having one school day per week for class, and I mean, it's just chaos. While we are seeing in other islands, I mean, just in neighboring St. Vincent, and if you remember clearly, during the peak of the COVID-19 debacle, there was that back and forth between our Prime Minister and the St. Vincent Prime Minister on issues. But the St. Vincent Prime Minister seemed to be much more on top of his game than our Prime Minister is. Because in St. Vincent, they're having school as usual. in St. Vincent, government, yeah, while we're hearing here about the Minister of Education requesting that people get the mask and people prepare masks that suit that's in line with their uniforms and stencil their names across the mask. You're not hearing this kind of chaotic situation in St. Vincent. In St. Vincent, you hear the Prime Minister in a press conference speaking about how many thousands of masks that they have ordered to be distributed and are being distributed and have been distributed. How many thousands of thermometers that they have for testing and giving guidelines. And so you had the permanent secretary along with him in a press conference. I have some clips there that I would like to play when our technical operator comes back. You know, we have that kind of situation in this country here, and it is just chaotic. I mean, I listen to the parents, I listen to the teachers, and speaking of listening to the teachers, there's one that came up yesterday that I want to share with you. And I call it, there's a little clip that was being shared around yesterday that was headed Misplaced Priorities. And the reason why it is headed that way, I want to just share this little thing with you. Now, yesterday afternoon, I came across a young teacher. He is one of those contracted workers. And listen how I've put it together. I've been reliably informed by a temporary teacher from one of the secondary schools in my area that a verbal notice has been presented to school principals at a meeting, that temporary teachers, and remember, it's a verbal one, right? There was no written circular, all right? That temporary teachers will not be paid for September and October and may not be until the middle of November. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? They may not be paid until the middle of November because some schools did not provide the periodic evaluation of these temporary teachers in a timely manner. So everyone suffers the consequence. So some schools didn't, but even those schools where that didn't happen, even those teachers, they have to suffer the consequence of that. Now, while these temporary contracted teachers are not being paid during this period, we are witnessing clusters of newly recruited, quote unquote, and that's my label for them, health wardens. They are roving the communities, going from one entity to another, surveying whether the COVID-19 protocols are being adhered to. Now, another thing is, if it's true that after 2 years of efficient and diligent service in a position that is vacant, because there's a number of vacant positions out there, government positions, whether in teaching service or elsewhere, a temporary government employee is eligible or even entitled to be permanently employed. Then why are these teachers and others being kept in this temporary status when the positions in which they are functioning are officially vacant? Reportedly, there are teachers in the system who have been there for over 4 years and were asked to do an upgrade in CXC mathematics. They had planned on doing so come January instead of June. So the teachers, they're motivated, they want to get ahead. But what has happened? Now some of these teachers are being told that they may not be reappointed, even though they were given a deadline to be upgraded, and that deadline has not yet passed. A teacher from another school district says that they have been involved in an issue relating to a dispute with an imani. In that dispute, as in others, the imani is being given right over the teacher, although the imani is clearly in the wrong. Are you listening to me? One of these contract teachers lamented having been refused a bank loan as small as $10,000 simply because of his uncertain contractual status. You hear that? One of these, I want to share that with you again. One of these contract teachers lamented having been refused a bank loan as small as $10,000 simply because of his uncertain contractual status. What are the prospects for meaningful growth and development in any country that is governed in this way? What makes it right that any government can conduct itself in such a way and still receive majority support when the track record of the alternative is much more progressive than this? We have a serious dilemma in this country. What is it? Misplaced priorities. We have a serious problem when it comes to the issues of governance and management, etc. But we spend time dealing in certain trivialities as it relates to the alternative. And we say there's no alternative. But when we look at what has happened, I would repeat it again. Anything will be better than what pertains presently. Anything else. I don't think that because the alternative has been there. And their track record shows that they have not done those things that's bordering on the criminal, as we have seen with this administration. What makes them worse? And when you get into that conversation, what's the response? Oh, if we saw all you going, then all you get another 15 nil again. And that's where the conversation goes, because when it comes to the issue of the governance of the country, they are unable to carry out a substantive discussion about it. At this point in time, Mr. Technical Operator, can you pull up that song, our usual break song from the Black Stallion, that we could make it if we try, because we just can't afford to give up. We have to keep on trying and trying and trying, because I see that our special guest is here, and after the break song, we'll get right back into our conversation with our guest for this evening, this afternoon, sorry.
But in surrender. It have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life would be much sweeter. Really analyze just what was the problem. Yes, we start making very positive moves to solve them. We fire the old set of managers we had working, and it's a new group we went and we bring in. And if the goods we require them new managers not supplying. When election time come back wrong with new ones we bring in. But if it's one thing about my people, I could guarantee that they would never ever put back the people country. And if we come to facing, it's dark, it's sour, and our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, we have one little thing that I want you all to remember. We could make it if we try.
Ready, Pablo?
Just a little.
I'm not getting any sound coming back at me.
Just give one more try.
Roger that.
Life would be much sweeter. Everyone full and happy time, some was enjoying. It's been over and laugh and keep our people was living. Now the culture is flat and the country come back to square one. Poor people remain and the city will get to enjoy John. But to get the economy return today on some footing. If the same poor people 10 days and cola they're taking. And without social unrest, poor people paying the price. Because they know for this country, nothing too much to sacrifice. And if the country facing, it's got its power. So our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it has one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life would be much sweeter.
Yes, we can make it if we try, Mr. Technical Operator.
Yes.
We can make it if we try, can't we?
Yes, we can.
We have to keep on trying. At this point in time, it's my pleasure to once again welcome Mr. Cajeton Hood. I mean, who doesn't need any special introduction? That's he, our ex-Attorney General. Mr. Hood, welcome and thank you for accepting the invitation to be our guest once again. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much for the invitation, but first of all, let me apologize for coming on late. I got caught up in something that I was doing, and then you locked me out. I was meeting to
I was out of the room.
Invited in. I was on the door knocking for quite a few minutes.
Yeah.
I had.
It's on me. It's on me. I was out of the. I was in the back door. I was in the.
That's what we have to do.
I saw you just get up and left me, and I just had to keep going,
He abandoned you like the Prime Minister's abandoned Grenada. He's following an example.
Children know when the parents leave, eh? Children know when the parents leave.
Well, the leader. We follow
the leader. Follow the leader.
Leader. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh
I heard him confessing in Parliament yesterday.
He was.
But I don't know if Grenadians understood it was a confession.
Really?
That's the other thing.
He confessed in Parliament yesterday.
Can you elaborate on that a bit for us?
Well, he confessed that under his stewardship, and he's been Prime Minister for 20-something years, right now the police, Royal Grenada Police Force, are afraid of enforcing the law against the elite people in the country. That is what he has confessed. He didn't understand it was a confession. And he's trying to excuse himself and say, well, you know, I've been around that and I don't support it. But the fact is that the mere fact that your Royal Grenada Police Force that is supposed to act independently does not act against certain elite people who are having parties in hotels. That's what he says in Parliament yesterday. It was contrary to law. So if the police hesitate to take action, what does that tell you?
Right.
They do not believe that the Minister of National Security supports it.
Right.
So when he comes in Parliament and says, oh, you don't support that, that's a big lie. Why would the police not arrest people?
Right.
You know how many people, ordinary people in Grenada, who got hungry in the night, rush out to get food and were arrested by the police?
Yeah.
And you have a hotel, according to the Prime Minister's statement in Parliament yesterday, hotels were having parties contrary to law. Nobody was arrested. He should have come to Parliament yesterday and list the number of people who were arrested and charged and who were in jail and who were fined. What a shame. What a shame. This man has been in Parliament for 30-something years. Prime Minister for 20-something years. And now, at the end of your tenure, you have to go in Parliament and encourage policemen to enforce the law against elitists. This is, you're talking about before Gary time? That's what used to happen before Gary's time. When I wrote my article last time, and I said to you, we are back to before Gary's time. People didn't understand. And that's evidence that we are back to a period before Gary's time. That's the only time that used to happen. That didn't used to happen in Gary's time, because Gary would call him and say, look, you're on a plane tomorrow.
Yeah.
You understand me?
You know,
when you're hearing, go back to Gary's time, a minister, a sitting member of Parliament will go onto lands and the landowner say, get off my land, you have no permission to walk my land. The Chinese did that.
Yeah.
The Chinese did that in Grenada. Several members of Parliament, the highest body in the country, going onto land. And the Chinese saying you can't walk this land here because it's mine. What am I hearing here? Come on, where are we now? So Pablo, we have gone back to before Gary's time. Gary is turning in his grave. Don't talk about Morris and them turning in a grave. HFA is turning in his grave. Brizan turning in his grave. Look at what we have become. We have become a surrogate of China. I was shocked when I saw the clip. And the fact is that Keith Mitchell has put a party member and a surrogate, a person who is completely inarticulate, a person who is a lapdog of Keith Mitchell, a person who was forced to resign as head of physical planning, and I'm repeating myself, he was forced to resign. I was a member of the commission. Richard Duncan was the other member of the commission. There was massive corruption in physical planning. We did our investigation and he was forced to resign. Keith Mitchell brings him back and puts him in charge of planning. Why? Because he wants arbitrary planning permission for what he wants. The Chinese have not even done an environmental impact assessment. But they build in and they walk in. And the government come in and tell us, oh, trust us, no man, we won't damage the environment. Trust you!
Why should I?
Wait, listen, Mr. Hood, the explanation that's been given is that they, in the effort to do other projects, because there were projects earmarked for that site before, that studies were done, so it is on that basis that they have allowed them to
I will even let you finish. That is absolute, total, abject nonsense.
That's
The environmental impact assessment, hold on, has to do with the volumes of persons on the property,
Yeah.
has to do with the projected thoroughfare, it has to do with the waste that emanates out of the project, among other things.
Right.
There is no project of that size that has been designated for that place. None. And every EIA is specific to the plans and the programs that is intended for the site. That is absolute nonsense. That's a lie. And I believe Grenadians should throw it back in the face. That's a lie. An EIA has to be done based on what you propose, not based on what Tom proposed last year or year before. No. Why are we listening to that nonsense? They have nothing else to say because they have no reason why that is happening. Why are you allowing somebody to build and you haven't done an EIA with a huge 500 room? We don't have a 500 room hotel in Grenada, you know. The first 500 room hotel in Grenada, the biggest hotel that'll be in Grenada, you are allowing to start construction without an environmental impact assessment, and you have some nature conservation matters right next to the hotel. Pablo, are we mad?
So, Mr. Hood,
As a matter of fact, it is a fact that St. Patrick's cannot sustain that hotel.
Right.
Okay.
It's a fact.
So let me ask you a question. If you come in here, Mr. Hood.
Yeah, go ahead.
What could be done to put a stop from your legal mind? What could be done to put a stop to the project continuing right now?
Right
legally.
Somebody had to pay me some good money for this. But the reality is that, and I've asked for investigations. I've asked for Grenadians to stand up. Nobody's standing up.
Right.
Because when this guy was appointed head of physical planning, I raised a whole stink about it. These guys came before Richard Duncan and I, and they were crying big long tears, full of corruption. They were not passing people's plans, except they go through a private office that they have. You understand me?
So it's corruption evermore.
Everybody, all of the professionals, they were forced to resign, including that same guy.
Okay. So
and now Keith Mitchell brings him back and puts him aside again. So why did he do that? Nobody else in Grenada could do the work? No. He's bringing him back because he can pick up the phone and get him to do whatever he wants.
Right.
And that's what's happening up in St. Patrick's.
So
the issue now, I do not have all the facts, so I cannot tell you. You see, I said what I said just now. I don't have the facts. So I can't come now and tell you, yes, you will be successful or whatever the chances are. I need to see what the facts are, what the complaints are, and I have to look at the act. It will take some time. I have to study the act. I'll have to look at the planning permissions and other bits and pieces. Yes. And I believe that the people in the area have an interest in the matter. Yes, not just the people in the area, but particularly the people in the area. It's going to affect them.
I heard a lady said, Mr. Hood, that it would be a great thing for the people of St. Patrick's. It will cut back on the expense of traveling to St. George's.
I listened to her.
Yes.
I can tell you what that is.
Yes, give me.
I can tell you what that is.
Yes.
In fact, let me start by saying, if you generate employment up in St. Patrick's, everybody knows as a fact that if you can take people from St. Patrick's to work in St. Patrick's, it's good.
Right.
Because it's going to cut back on all these things. I totally agree.
Yeah.
But there are bigger and more fundamental issues than that. So what you're going to tell me, because somebody promises you some jobs, it means you're going to sell your soul just to get a few jobs? Is that what this minister is trying to say to me as a Grenadian?
And that what concerns me a lot when I heard her saying that. And saying to me, I'm in Canada here, and I'm very much in touch with what's going on in Grenada. I listen to everything that from Parliament to the people on the street. I listen to them all the time. I listen to many different shows and getting feedback from people on the ground. And when I heard her said that I'm thinking, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Because I can understand for one reason. What amount of jobs that could help Grenada so much in that part that you would give up destroying the environment just to get people to work in St. Patrick's? Is there any other way you could get people to work in St. Patrick's?
But my friend, that has been happening all over. It has been happening. The same thing has been happening in Mount Hartland with the Grenada Dove Sanctuary.
And the same thing has happened
The same thing happened
in La Sagesse.
It's the same. La Sagesse too, all over the country. This government does not care about that. They have found a way of tricking the international community to get money on that blue goat and whatever it is, right? And now, when desperate times come, according to the statement, desperate measures are required. I see, and therefore you do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
Wow.
So the excuse that they are making is absolute nonsense. Let me give you a fact.
Okay.
We have been printing passports, just as how the Federal Reserve prints new dollars.
Yeah.
Yes. Because the passport now is like our currency, you know. You don't realize that?
You trade your currency.
I wanted to get to that because I saw this report with how many passports.
No, there's a joke report. Hold on. I'll give you that just now. Okay. Pablo, there's a joke report.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a co-op report.
The
report does not tell the real story, but don't sidetrack me here. I am saying we are printing passports as how the Federal Reserve prints money. Grenada is selling passports. That's the biggest income.
Gross national product.
Passport selling. Because how much $100,000 for one passport?
Right.
So that is the currency. And in addition to that, there's the ordinary passport, which you buy and become a Grenadian, even though you don't even see Grenada. You don't even know the color of my eyes. You don't know Grenada's beach. You know nothing about Grenada. But you become a Grenadian. And then, in addition to that, if you will do the work for the ruling party, they give you a red passport. Which is supposed to be a diplomatic passport. You understanding my point now?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
That's the reason why you see some Chinese man Grenadian. I saw somebody asking the question. That's why the reason why the gentleman who has this new hotel, Silver Sun Hotel, is labeled as a Grenadian.
As a Grenadian, yes.
Yes.
That's an issue. Yeah, that's an issue that's out there.
That's not. Yeah. But Pablo, that's been happening for years. No, what you talking about? That's an issue. That's not a no issue. That thing happened. Remember, around the year 2000. That bacchanal was there already. The same NNP administration ended up in a set of problems. Remember First Bank and Van Brink and them?
Yes.
They were selling passports. Buy 4 and get 1 free and all kind of stuff. What? Like when you wait. Yes.
I didn't get that one. I didn't get a part of it at all. I know the passport.
I said in the year 2000,
buy one get one free.
Was selling passports like how you go in a
grocery store
in the market and buy 4 and get 1 free and so on. You know.
Woo!
Yes. Why you think the Canadians put visa restriction on us?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right, because there was a big bacchanal. And then the NNP government withdrew it because of the pressure
from international communities and stuff.
Yes, and the pressure. And then you remember that when the briefcase scandal came out?
Exactly.
Everything went away.
The man says he damn money. The man says he damn money. You only get $15,000.
Yes. No, he said approximately. He didn't say how much yet.
Approximately. Yes. Approximately.
So he's trying to tell Grenadian people he didn't come the money.
He didn't come the money yet.
Yeah. He didn't come the money. But he said, he didn't come the money. It's approximately 80. But the money is his because he spent money.
Yeah, he's man says that money. I remember.
He said he spent money. But the question is, I asked the question, nobody answered me. No. Did he create an invoice how much money he spent?
Oh.
Have to balance it and see if he spent 5,000 and get back 18.
So the prime minister haven't supported. Okay, in your understanding, because you was okay. Let's make something clear here to the people listening to us for the first time. You have been the former Attorney General under the same NMP administration, right? Are you the reason why you leave the job? Are you retire from the job? Or you
let me be very clear.
Yes.
Listen to me carefully. And because some people still hanging on to the foolishness and
yes.
propaganda,
On the explanation for that,
people are spreading, trying to destroy the credibility of what I am saying.
Right. Go ahead.
First of all, judge what I'm saying on its content rather than on my face. That's the first point.
Okay.
Let me go ahead to defend my face. In the year 2000, after the briefcase scandal, I was public enemy #1 to Keith Mitchell.
Right.
Because I used to write on the papers regarding the same corruption. Yes?
Right.
He actually told a friend of mine in his office that he will never promote him, never give him a job in the police force, I won't call him, which he was the most highly qualified person to hold the job. He said, Cajeton, I know this is your friend, you expect me to appoint the friend of my enemy to such a post.
Wow.
Those were Keith Mitchell's words. You understand the point I'm making? Right. In 2003, they should have lost the election, but he won in Kayakuba in 7 votes. Remember that? 2 or 6 votes?
I remember that, yeah.
Yes.
They lost in 2008, the elections.
Right.
And then I'm doing my work, I'm on the outside, I'm saying what I have to say, contributing to the society as a Grenadians. I'm not taking on Keith and his foolishness. In the year 2012, I was traveling on a plane. That time Keith Mitchell is in opposition. My little daughter and I were traveling from New York. She's a citizen of the United States. And Mr. Mitchell walks up and comes and addresses me and says he wants to talk to me. And says he's going back again, he made a lot of mistakes. You know the same old nonsense he get us to vote for him for in 2013. And he won't do what he used to do before. He out to build Grenada. It's the end of his career. He doesn't want to go out like that. Blah 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 blah. And begged me to come and work for him. You hear me, Pablo?
Right.
Yes.
I did not apply for any job with Keith Mitchell. He came to me on 3 occasions. My son, who is a lawyer now in my office, can attest to that fact. He came into my office. 3 occasions he asked me. A good friend of mine said, oh, can't you do it now because it's from Grenada? I went into the job because I was asked to do it, and the perception was I was the best person at the time to do the job based on the rebuilding job that was required for Grenada. And I took it under those conditions. I took a 4-year contract. I took a 4-year contract from 2013 to 2017. Yes? It was from April 2013 to April 2017. When the year turned, I said to the Prime Minister, look, I'm leaving in April. Nobody has come to me and spoken to me about, winding up what I'm doing and hand over. You understand? I said to him clearly, I'm not asking for any more time. You with me?
Right.
I'm just saying to you that here is the situation. My time comes to an end in April, and I want to be properly able to hand over whoever is coming in. Right. So there must be a transition period. They asked me to remain for 6 further months.
Okay.
And at the end of October, I left. At the end of the 6 months, because I said to them definitively, my son had just qualified for the bar. He was there on his own in the office. I need to go and bring up my son.
Right.
Okay.
Keith Mitchell and the NMP did not register any complaint about the quality or quantity of my work for the 4.5 years. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of a sudden when I left, I hear NMP people saying they get rid of me, they don't want me, and all kind of foolishness. So that's my position.
Right. So that's clear. Given the present situation as it exists in Grenada right now, all the level of mismanagement that we hear all over the place, the scandals, what legal action that could be brought against this administration to put a halt to the level of mismanagement and accountability?
Well, that's a difficult one because we don't have any review commissions like you have in the United States and so on. We don't have that. And I have put it to the other members of Parliament in this way, saying to them, they are the ones who are responsible for continuing to keep this government in power. Remember, our constitution does not respect political parties.
No.
Yes? The Prime Minister is the person who can convince the Governor General that he has support of the majority of persons that the people have voted into Parliament. The only reason why Keith Mitchell is Prime Minister is because the other 14 people have given him
Demanded.
their support.
Right.
So when you get rid of Keith Mitchell, the Grenadian people should not listen to any of the 14 people who come back before them anymore. Because they are the ones who are giving strength to Keith Mitchell.
Right, right.
So they can't watch the and say, it wasn't me, it was he, and this and that and the other. I'm waiting to hear what he does with his cards tomorrow. So this nonsense he's talking about, he's giving people a chance. Look, Parliament is not a place to experiment. Cabinet is not a place for experimentation. To trying somebody here and trying somebody here. No, that's not what he's doing. He's moving people around like how you shuffle a deck of cards in order to be better able to control their minds. So if somebody is in a ministry and they're not doing what Keith Mitchell wants, you move them. That's what's happening. This nonsense about trying to give people more experience, that's nonsense. That's foolishness.
You wrote an article, I think it was week before, that was headed Squandermania Again.
Yes.
And in that article you said, let me ring the alarm bell all over again. All the signs are pointing to the inevitable conclusion that there is squandermania taking place all over again in Grenada.
Yes.
What are you referring to specifically here?
But I went on further in the article to point out that contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, and I stand corrected, if anybody can come and say to the public that yes, Parliament has passed an act or a law saying how money should be disbursed from these other funds, let me know. No. The Constitution says all monies that are coming into the Grenada's coffer should be something called the consolidated fund, except if other funds are set up. Other funds are also public funds.
Right.
But you could put money into it. That's no problem. But to get money out of it, Parliament must supervise the extraction of money from those funds. People have been paid from these funds, and I'm aware of no parliamentary approval for the payment of those monies from the funds. Keith Mitchell's son has been paid from one such fund in the Ministry of Finance. He's not been paid from the Consolidated Fund. He's been paid from a fund called the Technical Assistance Fund. My question is this: has Parliament approved payments from the Technical Assistance Fund? Has Parliament approved payments out of the National Transformation Fund, where I understand other people have been paid? So what is happening is that this government is bypassing the financial rules. Are you with me now?
Yeah.
And disbursing money in quantities that Parliament have no oversight over. I've never heard about any presentation to Parliament to say that Keith Mitchell's son is in paying $5,000 or $6,000 or $15,000 at all, you know. What I know is that he's been paid.
Right.
And there are other persons, I don't want to call more name over the internet, but there are various persons who are being paid and have been paid over the years out of these funds. Now, listen to this. And I'm tying into the same point I started here talking about the teachers.
Right.
So they're not paying the temporary teachers. Why? Because they say they didn't fill out any kind of paper. So it means that Keith Mitchell's son full out the paper?
Probably he did. We don't know. Perhaps he did.
For which paper? He can't have filled out any paper because Parliament didn't set up any structure for him to fill out the paper. Let me go further. The people Pablo, you are talking about established positions. All the established positions are catered for in the budget, Pablo.
Okay.
And you know in the budget how much a teacher should get, ain't it?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You see anywhere in the budget how much each son supposed to get?
No, it's a
It's
position
not
that never,
paid from the consolidated fund.
it's a
Okay.
position that never existed before.
Well, not only that, it is not. There are several persons who are paid from other funds. That's my point. And the Constitution says that Parliament is supposed to control those funds and set up rules and regulations to deal with those funds. That has not been done. And I'm saying again, if I am wrong, I welcome any member of Parliament, whether the Speaker or anybody else or any member of the public, to say, well, Mr. Wood, you're wrong. Here is a document where Parliament authorized spending X, Y, and Z or paying X, Y, and Z to X, Y, and Z. So our monies are being squandered. That's the point I am making.
Wow.
Yes? So the money, the National Transformation Fund was set up. I drafted that legislation.
Okay.
It was set up so that monies from the sale of the passport would go into that fund, and here the name, National Transformation Fund, to transform our economy. It was principally meant to deal with projects for the development of Grenada.
Wow.
Do you understand the point I'm making? That's the reason why. Because when the bill was passed in Parliament, the reason that the same NNP government presented to the people of Grenada was that the passports would be sold and the money would put in a fund for the development of the country. Mostly for project development.
Right.
What is happening with the money?
Where did money go?
Well, that's the point I am making. So I am anxious for the Prime Minister. He says he's stepping down. I'm anxious for him to step down. And I'm anxious for another government to come in place so an inquiry could be had of all of those funds and how the money was spent.
Wow.
Because I have information that people were getting out 10,000 euros a month and plus, from this fund,
So wait, hold on. Okay, so now I'm getting a little bit curious now. So if he steps down,
Yes.
can the step down from the prime ministership? Can the remaining members of parliament, can they launch an investigation if they don't support it? Because he's the minister of finance. He's the one controlling.
That will have to go through. There are two things. Investigation will have to go through the Governor General. See, that's the reason I'm saying nothing is going to happen. Because the last one that we tried with the briefcase, we had a one-man commission who didn't even interview the person who they claim take money in briefcase.
Right.
So I was laughing the whole time. And I was saying, how could we as Grenada be so stupid? A man is accused of taking $500,000 in a briefcase. You don't ask the man a question?
Well, based on what
Not everybody else, public servants, all kind of people, security, you don't ask the man a question?
well,
And you say you have an inquiry?
listen this. I
I'm
think,
saying that's what's going to happen again.
but I heard that in regards to the briefcase question, I asked Tillman Thomas on this show, why didn't they pursue the charges and stuff of the Prime Minister? And his response was that they tried, and they was blocked by the U.S. government or something that didn't have given release because the main weakness was in
No,
prison.
that's a different point. That's a different point.
Yeah.
I am saying they did not have the tape. I agree.
Right.
But I am saying even if they didn't have the tape,
The main weakness.
nobody asked Keith Mitchell a question.
Right. So
Tell me who asked Keith Mitchell a question in you have an inquiry. Okay. Pablo, people say I thief. People say I thief. A car. Right? They ask everybody, they ask my wife, my son, my daughter, my friend. Then ask me a question.
why?
Okay, did
Why?
you count the money, Mr. Mitchell? Yeah? Are you sure? Did you keep a record of how much money you spent? You saying it was payback for what you spent?
Now,
You sure, excellent. Nobody asking him. Not
Mr. Wood,
nobody asking.
for clarification to the Grenadian public, I'm
Nobody.
And
he gets so bold after he says he money.
Yeah, it's that money, yes.
So I'm saying, once the NMP remains in office, you will never get an answer for those troubling questions.
So
never.
The Grenadian people are listening to you today. Some say the corruption is real. Shocking but not surprising. Right? Glued to my seat. And I'm saying to you now, you said that you have drafted the legislation for the coffers, for the money, where it should be gone and how it should be dispensed and what it should be used for.
No. You misheard me. We did the legislation for the CBI.
For the CBI, yes.
Right? In terms of how the money should be taken out of those funds that are not, because listen to me again.
Yeah.
The consolidated fund payments are in the budget.
Right.
That's what they're going to do just now. You have a budget for 2021, and there's a big document that tells you how much teachers getting, how much doctors getting, everybody.
Right.
You understand me? And Parliament passes that.
Right.
Well, I'm saying there are other monies that are received for Grenada.
Right.
That do not go into that consolidated fund.
Okay.
They go into other funds, like the Technical Assistance Fund.
Right.
Do you understand me?
Yeah, I got you.
The Constitution says for money to come out of those funds, Parliament must pass some law.
Okay.
And I am asking anybody in Grenada to point out any law that Parliament passed to allow the NNP government to take money out of the Technical Assistance Fund and pay Olinga Mitchell.
Right.
Or take money out of the National Transformation Fund and pay Madam X or Miss X.
Whoa.
That's what I'm asking.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you got it. The question has been asked. And we're looking forward to hear from the persons responsible for taking the money off and make the payments. So I'm looking forward to hear that. I'm really, that is very interesting. I really glad you make that point, because a lot of people are here and the people are shocked. They're shocked.
That is but I'm answering to Pablo's question for the
yes.
Because I'm saying that our monies are being squandered. The government, the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance answer. Hear what he's saying. Hear what his formula is. Control expenditure. So my question is, well, why don't you control the expenditure by getting rid of those high-paying jobs where you're paying your people on them?
Whoa.
That's the easiest way to get rid of the expenditure. Then you get rid of these people. They are not accounted for under the consolidated fund.
Wow.
You could terminate them and send them out all the time.
So
you know much advisors and consultants getting a set of big fat salary. You pay about 20 people.
Wow. So with all that being said, we see we're getting into another budgetary cycle.
Yes.
And we see that consultations and so have begun. Recently there was some kind of conversation with the young people. Well, it's actually it's a first, and that's what I'm saying. It's a first. What do you anticipate going forward in terms of this whole budgetary exercise and the
Pablo? That's a showcase to try to see involving young people. Young people will come up and talk. Leaders are supposed to lead. In other words, leaders have to have a plan and then fit the young people into your plan. What is your plan?
Exactly.
And what's your plan? Your plan is to build a hotel, right? And you say again 1,500 workers there. 1,499 of that would be bellboys, washing people clothes, sweeping the place, yes, selling a drink. Don't you know that, Pablo? All the big jobs will be Chinese and imported people. So what are you talking about? What are you telling the young people? You have no plan for the young people. You select a few thousand of them and pay them a $3,000 a month and say they in Imani. And after they finish Imani, there are people who've been in Imani for 5, 6, 7 years. What are they? No advancement. No improvement. I have called the Imani program as a welfare for young people.
Wow.
That's what it is. Free money, welfare. Is that the plan you have for our young people in Grenada? What you talking to them about? What do you expect them to come and tell you? So Pablo, it's a waste of time.
So going down that road and managing with that kind of management and with that kind of governance, what are the prospects for our country?
You're going nowhere. You are going nowhere, because what's going to happen? Listen to me again. After the last elections, you know what was the biggest comment made by the election observers? That we need to have laws in place for campaign financing. That's where the NNP is killing everybody else. Because of all of the partners and the people they give the red passport and thing, and all these kind of people they do favors from. These are the people who turn around and put money in the election campaign, Pablo. So you can't match them.
Can't match the money.
Them. Because you were asking me question just now about people, why people continue to trust the NNP. Look at the United States elections. You know what is a big topic up there now? Yeah, who have more money to spend, Pablo? Money opens doors. Money changes people's mind. That's the reality of life, Pablo. That's the reality of life. And if the NNP has $100 million to spend and the NDC have $1 million to spend, you don't expect that these poor people who are no job, who are nothing, come on, man, you don't expect them to go for the NNP?
So, in other words,
that is what the Electoral Commission commented about. That the elections in Grenada will not be fair until you control
the money.
Campaign financing and you put rules in place regarding that.
Right.
America has rigid rules, you know. Because what is happening, and everybody understands that.
Yeah.
You could collect money from people, promise them something, and give them a big job afterwards as payback.
Yeah.
That's a regular thing that politicians do. But the NNP, Keith Mitchell and company, will not put any laws for campaign financing. Why? But that's the ace in the hole, Pablo.
Yeah.
That's what so when you're jumping down, hold on, when you're jumping down Grenadian people back and say they're stupid, and no, Pablo, the bottom line, as Mali said, you keep them hungry. And when they have to get some food, they brother have to be your enemy.
Yeah.
And you divide them. And you conquer them and you rule them and you keep them down there. You don't want them to prosper, because when they prosper, they become independent and they don't want to hear from you. They tell you, come out of my house. And that's the political strategy, Pablo. That's the reality. And if people out there see me really impassioned about it, because I'm sleeping and waking and I'm eating this thing in Grenada, you know. I get up in the morning, sometimes 2 o'clock, I cannot sleep because I see what's happening and I know what's happening. It's on my mind, it's consuming me. That is what is happening.
So essentially you're saying with all of those new entities that are coming to the fore, speaking about more equal, more equitable distribution of resources and
Nice
so on.
words.
Just nice words.
Nice words. Nice words.
They know to grease the wheel.
Where they are and make them understand. The PRG shows us that. You have to educate the people, make them understand, get them there and make them understand what they are losing.
Yeah. It's a
If you don't educate them and keep talking to them and so on, you'll end up turning around cussing them. And so many people did after last election say they're stupid. They're not stupid.
Is this not educated?
They're not educated.
Yeah.
You have to lead them. You have to show them. Get down there and make them see exactly what is happening. And it may take a long time. This is Judge Grant, and I used to have that conversation every week. I used to encourage him, look, keep what you're doing.
Yeah.
As the Chinese say, the same Chinese say, if you put 1 drop of water on a stone every day, after a while you see a big hole in the stone, water and stone.
It's like, as you mentioned, the Chinese, it's like growing the that Chinese bamboo tree.
Yeah.
When you have to water it for so many years.
5 years.
That is good, but when it does shoot, it just grows and grows.
So I understand all this thing about these different parties. But the bottom line is, when the election time come and the green machines start to roll with all the money in the jersey and the handouts and the food and this and that, and these people are hungry. What do you expect them to do reasonably? Please tell me what you expect them to do. And they tie up, hold on, and they tie up a set of strategic people in the community. Can they give them what? What do you call them? The people you call health what again? That walking around.
Health wardens.
Hold on, and they give a set of them as traffic wardens.
Mm-hmm.
Who doing that appointment is politicians, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
A family who wasn't getting much money, they get one child, have a work as a traffic warden, and getting how much, 1,000 or 2 or whatever a month. They glad.
Mm-hmm.
Papa kid give them everything. And they select them specifically, hear me out, you know, in the constituencies. The Prime Minister is a statistician. He knows numbers. And that's what he's using every election to win the elections. He plays numbers in the constituencies. So he's just working to get a majority. And he shuffles numbers. And that's what it is about, Pablo.
Yeah, because it is interesting that I played that clip earlier on where there is that conversation out there about if he's the only person to run the country, and you had this political analyst, and he was speaking about Dr. Mitchell, his political legacy. But the interesting thing is, while he spoke about him as a politician, he did not touch the issue of his governance at all. You know, about his legacy as in terms of his governance ability, in terms of his prime ministership.
You can't touch it.
That's one of the things about our people, that they do not appreciate the difference between his political legacy as against his governance legacy, as against his prime ministership. And people have to begin to appreciate that, the difference between the two.
Pablo, you have to break it down. Pablo, you have to break it down.
Yeah.
Using nice fancy words for them people and them. Hold on, they want to know that, look, this man doing wrong.
True.
That is not right. Break it right down to where they're living. It's not right. And what Kit tries to do now, because he talked about that in Parliament yesterday, we must stop being personal. But the Prime Minister needs to understand that when you are a public figure, you have no private personal life anymore. Listen to me. President Clinton was impeached because of semen on a girl dress. You remember? When he lied and said, you had no sex with this person? Huh? Wasn't that his private life?
Yeah, in office.
Wasn't that his private life in office?
Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky brought this guy to an impeachment.
Yep.
So when Kit Mitchell is going to tell Calista Faria that don't go there, he's out of order. He's totally out of order. With all this, look, Grenada has been very good to the gentleman because he has given him Caribbean and international notoriety. Isn't that so? He owes Grenada a debt, and he has to pay the debt to Grenada. You are a public figure. You are the Prime Minister. Your private life is not your private. It's not private anymore. Come on, you know that as a matter of fact.
Yep, he knows that. He knows that.
The public is supposed to treat your wife in a particular manner. Isn't that so?
Yep.
Isn't that so?
Yes, it is.
So why shouldn't the public know who is your wife?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Pablo, come on, man. That's common sense.
Exactly.
You can't come back and tell me I'm the Prime Minister and my life is my private life. I could do what I want. Where that? You don't pay any tax, you know. There's one office that's totally tax-free, you know. It's a perk. And the perks come with certain responsibilities. You cannot want to have the privilege and don't have the responsibility. And that is common sense. So this nonsense where he goes in Parliament yesterday and talk, all of the same people and like him, and they must stop being personal. Mr. Prime Minister, you are Prime Minister, and therefore your private life is subject to scrutiny. So don't tell me I'm being personal with you. If you break the law in your private life, you break the law. It's not private no more. That's simple.
And with all of that being said, I mean, the majority of times when we speak about the Prime Minister is about his function in government.
Yes.
It's about the kind of services that the government is unable to deliver to the people, that the people rely on from government, and they are unable to receive it. And I often say to people, if you vote for a bowl of food, you cannot expect that you are going to get good health care in return, because you're voting based on the wrong premise. It's critical, therefore, for those of us and people like you to be all there in the public domain. And that is the reason why I try to have you and others to come here to speak, so that people can know it is not just because you're not speaking from a partisan political position.
I'm not as an
NDC or
I'm not aligned to any party right now. I'm not saying that I will not welcome a chance to have a contribution, but I am not aligned to any party
political party.
Yeah. And if I'm going to be aligned to any party, there are certain undertakings and certain principles that have to be put in place.
Okay.
That's my standard.
Okay.
You know what? I sit on watching Mr. Hood. I'm sitting here and I'm watching you, and I'm thinking of you looking at you as the next Prime Minister of Grenada. Because you have you know,
just giving my opinion.
Yeah, but you know what? Is people like you that are going to really lead other people to have changes made, and with your openness, your frank and honest opinion, and not just an opinion from it, but factual information that people get in from you, with the transparency that you have and what you're delivering to people here. I ask the question one more time to you, and as I asked before, if an injunction could be leveled against the present administration to cease and desist the construction of the Rivera project and the Manhattan project, and you said that somebody had to pay you plenty money, but
look, for you to get an injunction, you have to point out specifically to the court what the law that is being broken.
Right.
With me?
Yeah.
That's what I said to you before. I need information.
Right.
If I get information that I can analyze,
right,
then I could go back to the laws and see what the laws provide. And then if there is a breach of any legal provision, then the court will be interested.
Right.
The court will not be interested in some speculation.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I got that. You need
to engage the court. You must say to the court, look, that is what the law says that should be happening, and look at what is happening.
Right.
They are operating contrary to that law, so stop them.
Right.
And that's how the injunction comes in.
Right.
Right. So I would need to sit with people who have information.
Right.
You following my point?
I got you.
Information that I can assess, evaluate, look for what the law provides. I'm willing to work.
So
I did the work for the salary deduction with the teachers and them. That is still ongoing. One of it is in the Court of Appeal. I did the work for the pension. Which Keith Mitchell is the central figure, and I keep telling people that he is the central figure in the pension battle. He is the politician that was there for the longest time, from 30-something years ago.
Right.
When they tried to take the well-meaning act that was passed under the PRG and just take it and dump it on Grenadians. Because the intention of the PRG was never to deprive poor people from a pension.
Exactly.
Never.
Exactly.
I could tell them that.
And I know for a fact.
And hold on, the Chief Justice of the OECS Court, Dennis Byron, gave a judgment in which he said the same thing. The intention of the PRG legislation was not to deprive people from their pension.
No.
At all.
Never.
The PRG's plan was to set up this pension for everybody, and then the government now would set up a pension for his own people that are working with them. Do you understand that?
Right. Yeah.
But these politicians have come in and see it as a way of cutting back on the benefits for poor people. How could the NNP government say that they are for poor people? How could Dr. Keith Mitchell who been benefiting from public favor for 30-something years, say he come from a poor family and sit down and sleep in the night, knowing he has made millions, and the poor teachers and them would leave after working for 30 years and get nothing except a few $100 from NS? Pablo, how could that be right? And you tell me you like poor people? How come public servants leave the public service in the highest position of the public service? And when they leave, they have to be outside begging, running and doing insurance work. Go and check yourself and see what's going on.
Yes, I see.
After they work with the children teachers 20-something years, 30-something years, they don't know where that plate of food coming from properly. Because the salary they're getting, they can't save on the salary, Pablo. They can't even save on the salary. So they finish now, and they have saved nothing, right? Except for what they put in NIS. And NIS give back a few $100 a month. Yes? And cost of living gone up. How you expect them to survive? Right? And Keith Mitchell is continuing to say, oh, they don't have no right to pension. Can you understand? Can you believe that?
Yeah,
I think it's also a part of destabilizing the program, the NIS program, to make it look as a bad idea that PRG had launched. It's all about the famous one, the who was there before. I also want to make an appeal to persons who have information to the Livre project and how it come about and what is going on, to talk to Mr. Hood. Can you be willing to work? Huh?
I'm ready.
You're ready. So anybody out there who has information to release in the hands of Mr. Cajeton Hood to proceed in terms of getting this thing to a halt, to ensure that the right thing is done the right way, and the law is not broken. He wants your help by feeding him information that he need to put a halt to the project.
Ready.
So he's ready. He says here on national television, he's ready and waiting for you. Come with the information, like Backside say, come with it. He wants it. All right.
In the public interest. Look, I've started the salary reduction for teachers for not a cent. We've done the pension matter not a cent.
Right.
James Russell and I have been on the pension matter. It's about to be tried, and then the COVID came. There was an unfortunate death that caused it to be put off, and then the COVID came, and then it's delayed further. But the matter has to be determined in court.
Right.
But I've been saying that over and above, whether or not you think is legal or not, you must be without a conscience. You must be without a conscience, Pablo. For people to be working all these years and they don't have a pension.
Yeah.
And at the same time, hold on, at the same time, Governor General getting pension. Keith Mitchell getting pension. People who serve 4 or 5 years in Parliament getting a pension, Pablo. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I
got you. And I hope the Grenadian people listening get it too and go spread the news.
With all that you said here, I mean, the kind of picture that you're painting of our Prime Minister, I believe that sometime not so long ago he was given some accolade as the #1 Prime Minister for whatever reason. Yes, and but we see recently there's an article that is saying, that is quoting some Caribbean diplomat saying that we are the laughing stock of the region. It's a frightening thing. We are now relegated to being worse than a banana republic.
Of course we are.
What are some of the things you think from your vantage point that can cause us to be looked at in that way regionally and internationally? And how is that impacting on our prospects for our development and so?
Well, you see, once we have such a bad name out there, we are not going to get serious investors in the country.
Okay.
We are not going to get serious investors in the country. And that's the reason why we have to go to the Chinese and so to come and invest.
Because real investors wouldn't come into a crowd.
Serious investors will not come. And that's that. Look, how did the shrimp farm thing blow up in our faces? Yes?
Yeah.
And we can keep pointing out a number of these things. Go back to 2013. let's go back to 2013, or even before that. When last have we had any serious investment initiative in Grenada? What have we had? A few call centers.
Yeah.
Big question mark about them. Pablo is smiling. You know what I'm talking about?
We have one in Liberia now, don't we?
Well, call center. But yes, of course. There's a lot of these things been going on and on and on. The same Mount Hartman land and so have been the subject of a lot of litigation over and over and over again. All the properties developed by the Savory, litigation again. What is that telling you? There's a reputation outside there regarding Grenada. And I don't want to go specific and try to point fingers at anybody. Next thing they say, I'm lying on them and they want to sue me or defaming them. But the reality is that, remember the last report that talked about the sale of diplomatic passports? Grenada's name was mentioned together with Dominica.
Yes, yes.
The Al Jazeera report only stopped short of saying what the reporter wanted to say because they didn't have enough information.
Yes, yes.
That's all. They said they couldn't confirm certain things. But the reality is that Grenada and Dominica are the two countries that are there out front. So Pablo, the concept of the Banana Republic is where you have leaders who are ruthless, leaders who take arbitrary decisions, leaders who can be bought. You with me? That's a Banana Republic. It doesn't take much to control them and get your way. And there's a lot of evidence of that. If you go back to the around 2000 coming forward, Pablo, go and do a check as to the number of persons who have been associated with the NNP government who ended up in jail.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Go back to Van Brink, go up to Kozeni, Restaina, and keep coming up.
It is true that there is a warrant for the Prime Minister's arrest.
I don't know about that one. What I know is that a case was filed in the United States against him and his wife.
Yes.
Right? You know that?
Yes, I heard about that one.
And in that case, the man is saying that the Prime Minister, in the case, I read the documents.
Right.
The gentleman is saying that there were at least two payments of $500,000 US.
Right.
And because he was involved in the scheme where he was defrauded, right? He was bringing up a suit against the Prime Minister and his wife as beneficiaries from the fraud.
Okay.
And the lawyers in the United States pleaded diplomatic immunity
for the Prime Minister of Grenada.
Yes. As a head of state.
Okay.
You understand me?
I got that. Yes.
And that's what has happened. I don't know if after he leaves, if the matter can be resurfaced.
He know what? Okay.
Because I've not done the research on the point as to how long and how far that plea is going to protect the individual. But I saw evidence of the suit. Yes. So the point I was making is that when you talk about a Banana Republic, Pablo, the reference is to the leadership of the country, right? Whereby the opinion of the person labeling the country is that the leaders of that country are such that they can be brought over. They are into all kind of corrupt activities. They are not persons who adhere to the acknowledged practices of law and order.
Speaking of the corrupt practices and not adhering to practices of law and order and so, we see that this administration has been plagued with accusations of using those social programs like housing and so on for political gain. We had the Prime Minister in the aftermath of the 2013 elections speaking about people in that administration that would have done things that they shouldn't have done, and he is not in favor of this kind of corruption. And we see now that the present minister recently, the Minister for Social Development and so, Ms. Delma Thomas, in a recent post-cabinet briefing, was saying that these assistance by the ministry should never be for those who voted for the NNP. It should be for families who are in need of assistance and so on. So how genuine are these kind of pronouncements?
Pablo, they just talk, they just smoke screen, because the reality of it is the government to make sure that there is an equitable distribution to the people who are in need. They have to ensure it. So you can't be the government and then blame it. Who are you blaming then?
Well,
who are you blaming then?
Well, she is saying that the government minister said that she and her officers have been tricked in the past and so on. Her ministry
tricked by whom?
Will now ensure that investigations are done.
Pablo, give me a break.
That's what
tricked by whom?
That's what the minister said.
The minister why we listen to the minister's nonsense? Because these are the same persons who go house to house to get the people vote. Don't they go house to house and know everybody in the constituency who voting for them and who voting for NDC? Isn't that so? Yes, and that is the same list that they use after they win to make sure the people who vote for them benefit. So who's there in the middle there to trick them? Please tell me what you're talking about. No, you're
it's not what I am talking about, it's what the minister is saying in the public domain.
It will become a reality.
We all understand what's going on.
Yes.
We all understand. We all understand what's going on.
So
you understand me? What? Let me tell you something. I didn't want to tell you.
Tell me.
You're not. Hold on. You remember the same young lady who went to the police because of Mr. Simple?
Yes.
And he's right now subject to a charge.
Yes.
You know she getting pressure now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
She getting pressure now.
They telling her that they don't belong some people. You understand the point I'm making? So, and that is coming up from right up inside the cabinet, Pablo. I don't want to call them. Right inside the cabinet, they tell the poor young lady that they don't belong to people. Because the lady is in rented accommodation. She get a letter to put her out. You understand the point I'm making? And they were helping her to pay her rent. She have about 3 or so children. You with me?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's coming from the top.
Listen to me.
There's
pressure in her. Because she go and complain now, they tell her they don't belong to people.
Wow.
The thing that I found strange
Hold on, I'm going to finish it.
Yeah, go ahead.
The lady boyfriend fight up to get a loan in a riser to pay the government for the piece of land. You understand me now? The land happened to be in the constituency of no, they tell after they sell the land for, they tell her she can't build on the land.
Why?
Because the land is not suitable for building. But they sell it to her to build it. So
they change their mind.
The person don't want her in the constituency.
Oh.
And they tell her they don't help people build house. They don't build house for people.
Wow.
And you come in and tell people this hypocrisy. I didn't want to say it. But Pablo, when I hear you saying that the minister saying that stupidness, and I know it's not the truth, I had to come out with it. The pressure in the poor lady, so she and her children
will be deprived of housing.
Put them out. They have to go and loan money. You understand me? To buy the land from the government. No, she pay for the land. They tell her she can't build it, and they're not going to help her to build.
So okay, hold on.
You can't join the dots and see why they're doing that.
So now we have so isn't that
clearly to say that they don't build house for people, because there is a promotion that is played out there that speaks about the housing authority and how they have come through for different people, and that they look after everything and so on from the beginning.
They tell her they don't build house for people.
Right, that's one.
If they threaten me, I will call them.
No, there is an ad out there that says how they treat with
But
the
Mr.
slave.
Hood.
Instead, look at how efficient the housing authority is.
Yeah, but have they published?
There's a promotion out there. But the thing about it, the thing I found strange about that from inception is that the woman goes to the Prime Minister for housing assistance,
Yes.
and she's sent to his personal security.
Yes.
The personal security doesn't work in housing. He's not a minister in government.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
Why is she sent to him?
Now you're joining the dots.
Well,
now
let
you're
me
joining
tell
the
you
dots.
something.
And the minister on housing coming and talk about people fooling them.
Let me
When
tell you
the Prime
something.
Minister sending people away from housing to his personal thing. You understand? You don't understand what's going on?
Yeah,
So
but hold on.
that being said, isn't there some grounds for indicting the Prime Minister in this charge? Because
Pablo, I ain't saying nothing because you don't tell people anything, whatever. I don't know say. I'll say enough already.
actually,
Mr. Hood, Mr. Hood.
one of the first thoughts that crossed my mind when that incident came to the fore. He doesn't work in housing. He's not a minister of government in any way. She's come to you for housing assistance. Why send her to your personal security? Right? And the fact that you sent her to the personal security and that has happened, isn't there, the question came to my mind, isn't there some grounds, because
You have to have a bit more facts on that. Objective, you have to get a bit more facts on that.
Yeah, so
saying the poor lady don't want to enter that constituency no more.
Okay.
Not helping her build no house.
wow.
So what?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question here is, I want two questions. Have the government furnished any evidence that the land is not suitable for building? One.
No.
Secondly, can she file an injunction in the court against the government on that basis?
No, she had to file no injunction. She had to build shows.
Shall be
Did they
sure.
stop her?
And if you stop her, then what recourse does she have?
I go do the rest on. Don't worry.
All right. Amen. So she should go ahead and build yours. Get she loan, build the property. Now,
Build shows, man. Let it go and stop her now.
they can't stop her now. You will do the rest.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
This community center right next to it.
Huh? So hold on.
Pablo, sometimes I cannot sleep. I'm going like I'm 10 o'clock by past 1, 2. I'm getting up. What on the mind?
People
Oh,
are
Grenada.
Grenada, land of.
Oh, Grenada.
You know what?
Come in and stand up in parliament and take attack a set of stupidness. Trying to pretend.
Mr. Hood,
Vote for people and this and that and the other. It's a masquerade, Pablo.
I want
One big masquerade. We don't need carnival because they're playing carnival every day.
oh my God.
They have a mass every day. Playing carnival every day. It's a masquerade. They don't care about nobody. Some of them they care about poor people. Care about which poor people? Right?
Wow.
If they have a party on the block, is policemen come in and arrest people and bring them in jail. But hotel having party and you come in and say you don't agree with it, but nobody arrested, nobody charged.
Right. So if you know about it, then why not they charge against the people?
Well, that's the point I'm making. He should have been coming to Parliament yesterday
And
say,
reporting.
Mr. John and Mr. Ho, the owners of the hotel have been arrested and charged. Huh? Shouldn't Pablo, you don't mind so? You don't agree. Police should do it.
So-
the police did not do it because the police afraid. Like they go there, the man go call you, Prime Minister. Is that so?
Yeah. I reprimand you for doing such. I release them because he's my friend.
Yes. The
Oh my
police
God.
are afraid to do their work.
Oh
They're
my
not
God.
equal, and they know what the attitude is. So don't come and lie for us in Parliament now and say, oh, you're against it. You're against what? You're against what?
Wow.
When you are to be helping the farmers and the fishermen, right? You are helping the hoteliers and
Right.
tourism. What they say, Pablo, tourism-based industries. They had money out for. At the same time, they tell the farmers they can go and take care of the land.
Yeah.
And the fishermen can go out and fish. But they have money for tourism-based businesses. It's not so. Am I lying? Okay.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not.
Okay. Okay.
Speaking-
When I take a stink in the tail, then 2 weeks later they come and say they come and put fishing and farming as industrial.
Services, yeah.
Yes, after take a turn in the tail.
So
I know. I only said only yesterday going Parliament to amend them laws. You know. Pablo 6 months ago. Pablo 6 months ago, I wrote those jokers and told them, go to Parliament and pass laws amending the existing acts we have to take care of the COVID. They did not do it. Now, yesterday, they gone to Parliament to say they will amend one of them laws to take care of people coming in and out of the country. Pablo, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But rather than do that, amend the laws existing, they go and they bring the AG to come and pass some kind of bill where they could break down your house or some kind of street.
Yeah, and take your vehicle, take your $25,000.
Pablo is a banana republic.
Speaking of that, as we've gotten to that point about about this bill and so, what is the status as far as from your vantage point of this COVID-19?
Let me tell you what the status now. You
Yeah,
know
what's
the
the
Prime Minister
status?
ain't talking nothing about it anymore. Because he feels if he raises it, it's a slap in the face. He don't want to deal with that. So you know what they're doing now? They go in now and they go in and get back the control by passing a set of bills on the side. They go in and pressure the bossmen. You know that's what they do?
Okay.
Yes, they go in and pressure the bossmen. They want to control the bossmen. They go in and what I believe they're going to do is to go on and try, rather than have one consolidated bill, they're going to pass little amendments all over the place to do the same thing.
So underhand in the situation.
Same thing.
Same thing.
You understand me now?
So Grenadians, wake up and smell the roses, the coffee, the tea, and everything. It's happening. You know what? I've been accused here, or telling here in Canada, as an insurrectionist by having those kind of shows and highlighting the plight of the Grenadian people. And I'm saying to them, I'm working here. I'm living in Grenada. Grenada is my home. And according to Pedro, who said Grenada is the 16th, the diaspora is the 16th constituency. Which means,
I want to follow you.
I know. But I will hold that up, you know what I mean, against the banner and say, look, they said that's who we are. So we are allowed to speak on behalf of the Grenadian people, whether we outside or inside. So today, I really glad that you came on here, because I could see by the responses from the people here, you have highlighted and opened a lot of, give a lot of information that the Grenadian people could digest and evaluate where they are with the present political system that governs them. And not only that, you make mention about the educating of the Grenadian people over money given to them around election time. So vote on issues, not only money that they hand out to you. Take the money and vote them out.
And vote on issues.
Yes, and vote on issues.
Don't turn down the $100 or $200.
Don't turn it down. No, it's good money. It's good money. It's a food. But vote
It's a food.
Vote on issues.
Vote where you know you're supposed to vote.
Yes.
The other thing I want you to tell them, when the NMP pay for the pollsters, tell the pollsters you're voting for NMP.
You see?
Tell them you're voting for NMP.
Tell them vote on NMP.
Yes.
Right.
Pablo, you understand? Tell them anything, man.
Tell them anything.
Tell them you're voting for NMP.
Before we go, we see we have a critical situation with our education system, where our education is right now, and the amount of time that children would be spending in school or not spending in school. And so what kind of impact do you think that can have? And why do you think we have to be at that stage wherein we're seeing that in neighboring St. Vincent, they're having school as usual? We're seeing that I saw an interview with the Prime Minister of St. Vincent where he was speaking about how many thousand masks they have brought in and it's being distributed throughout the school system and so. And we're getting
what?
Yeah, they have a few thousand masks that they are distributing throughout the school system, how many thermometers they have brought in, and so for testing and all that kind of thing. And we're getting a totally different story from our ministry here. And the thing just seemed to be so chaotic. The teachers are very demotivated. Children are crying that they can't go to school. They go to school for one day and then they can't go back to school for the rest of the week. And so, what kind of impact can this have on our overall education system?
But Pablo, I think you know it's not a positive one, but you have to go back to when this COVID virus started. I was one of the first persons who went out public and said we need to deal with this thing cautiously. We need to protect our borders. We need to protect our borders, and we need to invest in testing. The government refused to invest in testing. They have refused. They have not even been, they were very cagey with the information. I remember in the very first few interviews, the Minister of Health and the doctors refused to answer basic questions about how many people were tested. In Trinidad, they were publishing it all the time. Every day they update. We have not done it. So they have been very cagey. Yes? The science of this virus is that you have to test a lot. You have to do a lot of community testing. I heard the Prime Minister say, oh, they don't have money for testing, and people who coming into Grenada has to pay for the testing. That's fine for people coming in. What about community spread? What about what's happening on the ground? No, if you are saying there is no community spread, and I've raised that argument already, if you're saying there is no community spread, then send the children to school and let business carry on, continue community testing just to check, and maintain your strict discipline on the borders. That's the science, if you understand my point. Because there are places in the world, Grenada out there on the international mapping saying about giving information on the virus. Out there it said Grenada has no active cases in it. So therefore, why can't we have the children in school? Is it that you don't believe in your own information? But the point is that for this virus, the only way you can have surety or security or some high degree of confidence is if you maintain a rigid testing in the community. So if the government is saying we're not going to test because we don't have money to test, Pablo, that's the reason why they have to be between and betwixt like rainstorm. They're saying one thing here, and on the ground, they cannot implement it because there's no connection between what they're saying and what's on the ground. And that's the reality of what's taking place. So they get caught here and there because the fact is that you have to reopen the economy or else you're going to dead. If you're not making money, you can't pay public workers and other things, so you have to find a way. But you have to put in money to get the money. You see? So that's the reason why. That's the reason why. If they give themselves over to testing, I've said that 6 months ago. 6 months ago. Give yourself over to testing. Find a way in the same way people help you and you get money for passport, whatever the case might be. Implement a strict testing program. It's only 100,000 people in Grenada, you know. Get a friendly government to donate something, the same Chinese who come in and take up all them land and them, let them bring in 1,000 tests each now. And test, keep testing. And once you're sure, and there are certain scientific indices that you can look at to see that you control the virus, then you let the place open up and you protect the borders.
Right.
Because you know then the threat is not internal. The threat is external.
Exactly.
But they are not doing it, so they guess in. So they just lock down everybody, do whatever it is, keep everybody inside, and you're frightened. You can't go out. I'm not saying break the law, you know, but I'm saying what they are doing doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. If we have nothing here, why you have us under this pressure still? That's my question, you know. I'm not saying you don't have it. But I'm saying you say you don't have.
We say that we don't have any.
You say we don't have.
Yeah.
So on the one hand you say we have no COVID here, and the other hand you have us down so we have COVID. We was then send Vincent they were locked down, you know.
No.
Yeah. But you treat it that well. I am puzzled, Pablo. I am puzzled. My daughter went to school convent this week. And she says to me, when the teacher asks, anybody miss their parents? All the children say, no! I say to her, so you say no to she didn't know, I just watch them. But the reality is that the children are tired of seeing us.
They
want to mix with their friends.
Yes.
So I'm answering your question regarding the psychological impact. It's hampering their growth because they have to mix ideas and exchange ideas. So I am just begging the government now, and I ain't calling you nowhere, I cool them now. I just begging them, please get a sensible testing program. Yes, they could do it over the next few weeks. Test, sample all over the country, and see what the level of positivity is in the country. And if you feel like you have it down, let the people and them come back to school, put on their mask, and keep testing. That's my answer.
Yep.
Oh, well, actually, Brother John, you were going to say something?
No, I'm just I'm overwhelmed with the information that was put out here today, and I could see again. Looking at the responses from our viewers. I'm impressed with that because it tells me that we have done a good job here today, and that people are beginning to question. And I know they'll be questioning the constituency representative and things like the testing, the monies that are being used, like should have been used for right project, and who authorized the release to pay those contract persons and so on. So again, Grenadians are now again have given like a tap on the shoulder, wake up and get involved. No longer just because the Prime Minister dance on stage for you. Not because he's
I could answer him, man. Don't say that. I could answer him.
You can do Jerusalem dance.
If you want that dancing contest, let it go.
Let go.
If you want that debate contest, let it go.
I think the next thing they will do Jerusalem dance on stage next time around. So I'm really happy that you are here today, Mr. Hood, again, and I invite you to come back again anytime.
No. Hear me. Listen. Listen to me. Grenada is a Mr. Anytime I get a chance to serve my country, but in a walk, by talking, but I'm doing it.
Right.
Any opportunity I get,
right,
in whatever capacity, to serve my country, I'm up for it.
Right. Someone was saying earlier on today in the program, why keep bringing back up the corruption charges? And my response was, well, the same way they give you the negative, you have to come up with the positive, right?
But I got an answer for you.
Pardon me?
Corruption has to do with the character of a person.
Yes.
A thief is always a thief. A murderer is always a murderer. You understand the point I'm making?
Right.
Particularly, and I'm dealing with the courts. If you are convicted of a crime of dishonesty, it's the worst kind of crime.
Right.
It's worse than killing a man.
Right.
A dishonest person is a person that you cannot trust. Period.
Right.
Person is dishonest. You understand? In terms of rehabilitation and going forward, how can you trust a person who's dishonest, or a person who keeps company with dishonest people?
Right.
My grandmother used to tell me, show me your company,
I will show you who you are,
and I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
So when people come in and say, that is what we know. That's the character of the person coming forward.
Right.
Nothing new.
And
I can give you more information. Let me be myself.
And that's the reason why, in my opening piece, I spoke to that issue. Because if you remember, I mentioned the fact, for the listeners out there, I mentioned the fact that when you have somebody who always in and out of prison, you refer to them as a repeat offender.
Exactly.
When you have a prime minister who consistently in every term in office get into some kind of deal or some kind of arrangement with international crooks and fraudsters, what kind of label do you put on him?
Pablo,
a good politician.
Different to that. Because anyone going to apply for a job has to present
the credentials.
Have to present the CV.
The employment
CV demonstrate, yes.
Yes.
CV demonstrate the track record in terms of employment, and so whether they qualify for the job or not, how they have performed in previous jobs, and that's why they call for references and so from time to in these cases. But they seem to want to apply a different standard. When it comes to Dr. Mitchell, he's always above reproach for certain people.
Mr.
He's not
Hood,
supposed to speak to these issues at all.
Mr.
And for me, I tend not to even mention briefcase when it comes to that issue. I always speak to the fact that our Prime Minister left our shores and traveled halfway across the world to collect cash. In this day and age,
Pay for that.
when you have electronic transfer and all these different options, he left here and went halfway across the world to collect approximately a few $1,000s that doesn't amount to anything. I mean, and that doesn't really make any sense at all.
It makes a lot of sense.
Make a lot of sense, Pablo.
All cash transactions are what are done with the drug people.
Yeah.
I don't talk.
Cash.
That's what the people who laundering money, that's how they operate.
Exactly.
Cash.
Exactly.
It can be traced.
Can be traced.
Understand?
And all of us know that, but we're turning a blind eye to that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yes.
That's the thing. And that's why I don't use those labels, because for me, it doesn't matter whether it was a briefcase, a crocus bag, a paper bag, or whatever. That is insignificant. The fact is, he left our shows and went across there to collect cash. For me, that is the mark of somebody who has something to hide. Something that doesn't want to be traced.
Of course.
It doesn't want to be exactly. You can't trace cash.
Yes,
Can't trace cash.
plain and simple. It's as simple as that, you know. So I don't understand that. But thank you for any final words before we close for the afternoon, Mr.
Well, I promise to make one
We can
point.
go on. We can go on.
I promise to make one point. You see that list of red passport that you talk about? It's not a complete list. I could tell you definitively it's not a complete list.
Okay.
Right? And secondly, they need to publish a complete list, not just of current ones, because they might have had 10,000 ones and they get rid of 9,400 and just say, okay, these are the 600 current. But we need to know what was there last year and year before. You get any point?
So you want the overall?
Yes, the pattern over a period of time, and you're going to see some things interesting.
Right.
Very interesting will show itself. Yes?
So right now we're calling the opposition leader, Mr. Clement, to ask the Prime Minister's
That's
office.
the wrong question.
Is it true?
That's the wrong question. We want the current one and the list for the last 10 years.
Yes, to present it to the people of
It
Grenada.
was 15-0.
Is it correct to say, Mr. Hood, that the people of Grenada are the employers of the politician of Grenada?
Yes.
So if we are the employers of our government, can we call them into us and say, look, I need to present that report to us?
But you see the problem we have a parliamentary system. That's the problem, and that's a problem with giving NNP 15 seats.
But okay, another question.
Hold on, we have a parliamentary system and there's a system in place.
Right.
Even in that system, they still beat the system by delaying and covering up, even in the parliamentary system.
Can I ask you a question here then? Is it then going forward that amendment could be made to the Constitution?
Ain't gonna happen now. Stop that.
Hold on, I'm asking the question.
No.
You must change the government for that to happen.
I could take you down a long
The government must change for that to happen. That's not going to happen in this
That is not. That ain't
I wanted to put in there.
Watch.
That
Put it this way, as you go into that, as you go into the Constitution, note something. And I was saying that to some people recently. In spite of the 15 love, twice,
Right.
the Grenadian people have shown, Pablo, and hear my words carefully, that they do not trust the NNP leaders. And I will remind you of that. They have shown twice they do not trust the NNP leaders. They gave them 15 seats, and I think what they're saying, we believe that in terms of running the country, you're better than the yellow people. But don't trust you still. And that's my analysis.
Because,
Because remember, after the 2013, 15 love,
right.
in 2017, we went to constitutional reform, ain't it?
Right.
And what did people say?
No. They say no.
Then after they get 15 again, they say, okay, let me try again. What do people say?
No.
We don't trust you. I want you to touch our constitution. Isn't that a shame, Pablo? Okay, so understand where Grenadians are. They do not trust the administration.
But every time
your vote was to say, we still believe, in spite of the fact we don't trust you, Better in terms of, servicing bits and pieces than the other person.
Right.
Do you get my point? That's how I interpret the election.
But again,
and then that could be skewed by the fact that a lot of money passed for the election.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm going to make. Money pass. And we said, forget money, vote on issues.
Yes.
Policies. And so on.
Yes.
Take the money.
I'm ready to deal with policies every week,
Yeah. Policies over money. Take the money and vote for policies. So the appeal is for Grenada to take the money, vote for policies.
We have to be able to bring the policies to them to get them to appreciate the policies and how it impacts directly on their lives.
Right.
Exactly.
That's my message. And that's where the different parties come in, right? Where you can tell the people, look, this is the situation. Break it down for them.
Simple language. Yes. No big language. Simple language.
Grenadians are not stupid. I've had a lot of confidence in my people.
I don't believe Grenadians stupid. Come on. Grenadians smart people.
I have a lot of confidence in my people. And I will have no patience with any politician trying to say the ordinary Grenadian people are stupid. I have no patience with a person who says that. They're not stupid.
No, they're not stupid.
Go down and walk and show them the benefit that you could bring to them.
Yeah.
If they reject you, it's because you have not explained to them properly, or you have not explained it better than the other person.
I think that's what happened in the last 2 elections. They have not been expressed in a way that the people could understand it. So yes, I think that's what the problem was. Because when I look at the NDC's policy and what they had, I mean, like, it was good, and I would vote for that policy, what they had. But I don't think the ordinary Grenadian got it.
Nope,
you didn't get it. It wasn't broken down properly to them. I think that's how to do working on the delivery of the good. Don't just bring the cement and just throw it in with the gravel and everything. Kind of break it down piece by piece and show how it is done. And I think that's what have to happen.
Yes, a lot of work. It is.
And you have to be committed and loyal to it. Yeah.
Yes, the work has to be done. Yeah.
Now we go know who's serious for struggle.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Hugo, thank you very much for coming through for us again, and we will be calling you on you again sometime.
Thanks for having me. You know to get me, Pablo.
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to all of the viewers, all the people who made comments in the short box, although we didn't take so much of them today because, I mean, Mr. Hood, as always, he's been on a roll, and there's
people are listening.
There's so much coming out of, the things that he's presenting to us. I hope that those who listen today would have picked up some things that they're able to share with others. This program is going to be online. You'll be able to find it on Facebook. We've now established a YouTube channel. So that is going to be on the YouTube channel. So even those who are not on Facebook will be able to access it. I usually go afterwards and share it to people in Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp, and so people can have access to it. And we will see how things proceed from there.
And Pablo, one other thing.
Yes, sir.
If you need support by way of analysis or information or comments on anything, we can do that.
Yes.
By another media, by WhatsApp or by email.
Yes, no problem.
Outside of the program.
Outside of the program.
Yes, so if you have your program and you want in preparation for a program, you want the information or you want a comment or you want anything else, I don't need to be on the program. I can feed you, I can answer you, I can give you information, so you can use.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
But we will have to see your presence here too, because people sometimes visual. They read body languages and they assess people with the word, with the actions, how they present. That will say a lot. So we want to see you back on the show too.
No, I don't know about that. I'm saying in and between that.
Yes. Oh yeah.
More than in next 3 weeks time. In the interim, if there is any information required or any comment required. Any advice required, just check me. I'll provide it happily.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much. Brother Kelly, thanks once again for allowing me the opportunity to be able to do what I'm doing here and be able to present the comfort zone. This is the comfort zone, and I'm calling on people to leave their comfort zone, because a lot of people just satisfied to remain in their comfort zone, and that's why the the introductory song says, get out of your comfort zone, because in your comfort zone, things are not happening that is going to be good for the country. It is when you get into the comfort zone that's when we all can enjoy this thing and have a good time. So thank you once again, and all the best to everybody. Do have a productive week going forward.
Yes, and don't forget, join us next week Saturday. Next week Saturday at 1:30 for the Comfort Zone. Every Saturday right here on Gem FM. Right? Check it out. Don't be afraid. Come on out and bring a friend with you next time. And join us tonight at 8 o'clock for a talking point. Alright? We're talking about the airport development and the Relief Rail project tonight. Right here on Gem FM Radio. Join us tonight.
Travel from country to country, but no feeling you have no money. No terrorist mentality, driving the nation back to sleep. Guiding the people back like donkey, treating them just like that for money. Little boy, pass on for mommy, till daddy come. Daddy go out begging for something to come. Pass on for mommy, till daddy come. Daddy don't get nothing for baby and mom. Little boy, you do come alright. Playing big and you feel alright. Little boy, you do come alright. Shaka is what it's your lesson. Little boy, you do come alright. Playing big and you feel alright. Little boy, you do come alright. Shaka is what it's your lesson. Every day you go in and delay, you don't do nothing for the country. You don't walk in the head, nobody can open for your left and lose. Little boy, you do come alright. Playing big and you feel alright. Little boy, you do come alright. No food tonight. Shaka is what it's your lesson.
Yes, that was a good one.
Yes. Again.
That was a good one.
Thank you, Pablo.
Yes, thanks.
See you later tonight, man. Are you going to join us tonight?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, no problem.
8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Right here at Gem FM.
Right.
Folks,
Yes, sir.
this is Gem FM. I'm out of here. Stay tuned for the next round of music. We'll be back right back on Facebook Live right now. But just playing music, great music right here on Gem FM. And I'll probably put a little bit of clip between the clip that send me, or put it between the shows right now until 8 o'clock. Alright?
Yeah.
So folks, have a wonderful evening. Again, this is John Kelly, your son of the soil, out in the north, great white north. Reporting out here and doing what we gotta do. Pablo is my greater connection from Guav. Yes, I'm looking forward for big and better. I love it.
And you can see we have our brand new background.
Yes, Gem FM. Yes, in Grenada. And we start giving away. Probably let's start giving away T-shirts in Grenada. Grenada. Yeah, giving away some gift. Some to our listeners. Alright? So that's coming up soon. Alright, one love, my man. God bless you and have a wonderful evening, everybody. Great Kaiko and Pretty Mad. Good afternoon to you. Good night. One love.
DJ Sotaholic are the maddest and the baddest. Me, tell business.
I'm a Grenadian to my heart and soul. Friends, I would travel all over the world. Anyway I go, I want to come back. Little Grenada, listen to my butt. When I take a look at the horizon, only goatishness out there I seen. Hatred and evil in the act of it. That's what manners, respect already gone. Shake it, me tell boy. Samotana pemoka hele. Nizena rabina muje mitena nakatu yuna. Shake it, me tell boy. Samotana pemoka hele. Nizena rabina muje mitena nakatu yuna. When the dancer is in the hands of time, fish is dying in the ocean. We need a PD map, make and carry go. Disasters and problems we going through. It's a kick me tell boy. What I hear afraid of falling. Trouble in Grenada, Mr. Mitchell. Man start killing man. Oh yeah. Come let's take this thing now to consider the damage they're doing to Grenada when drug addicts, alcoholics and even civilians are killing police. Shake it, Michel Roy. Samotano Pemo Cajeton. Mizena Raphael and Mushe Michel Nam Naka to you now. Shake it, Michel Roy. Samotano Pemo Cajeton. Mizena Raphael and Mushe Michel Nam Naka to you now. Wonders and signs in the hands of time. Fishes dying in the ocean. We need a pity mat we can carry. Disasters and problems we go on. Mr. Kit Michel Roy. What are you afraid about? Trouble in Grenada, Mr. Mitchell. Man start killing man. Come on. Come. The population is increasing, and them teenagers quickly maturing. We need an architect to design a plan for those mom and dads and our children. We don't have much work, we don't have money. Unemployment increasing rapidly. We need a solution just for survival. Too much for the jail and the hospital. Shake it, Michel Roy. Samotano Pemo Cajeton. Mizena Raphael and Mushe Michel Nam Naka to you now. Shake it, Michel Roy. Samotano Pemo Cajeton.
Alcoholic, you know it!
Michel Nam Naka to you now. Wonders and signs in the hands of time. Fishes dying in the ocean. We need a pity mat we can carry. Disasters and problems we're going through. Mr. Kit Michel Roy. What are you afraid about it? Trouble in Grenada, Mr. Mitchell. Man start killing man. Come on. Shake it,